What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? It is Stressman here, and today we're back with my ninth slash favorite Tarantino movie. And of course, if you hadn't guessed it before, I don't know how you didn't, but I've said it in different videos. Anytime I talk about movies, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is my favorite movie of all time. It came out in 2019, and I have loved it ever since I stepped in that theater in Johnson City at EMC with my two friends since middle school, Israel and Jonathan. I forgot to mention Israel's mom as well. I absolutely adore this movie. I love the cinematography in this movie. I love the dialogue. I love the acting. I love the story. I love the theme. I love the setting. Everything. Everything about this movie, I love. The soundtrack is amazing. I listen to it literally when I'm going down the road. I listen to it at home. I really have a thing for 60s media and everything, and I love the setting. And I know a lot of people do not like this movie because they call it boring and slow and everything else, but I don't see it that way. I do not feel the two, and I think this movie's 2.5 hours, maybe a little bit over that. I think it's like 2 hours and 40 something minutes, maybe. But I don't feel it at all. The only time I feel the movie drag, honestly, is at Spawn Ranch. I'll get into that when I go over the topic. Or not the topic, but the plot of the movie, I guess, when I go into the little short explanation of it. But, yeah, that's the only time it drags for me, and that's not, a big part in this movie, if I had to say, but, I love it. I love the dynamic between Cliff and, Rick. I love the way Brad and Leo just act together in this movie. They have such great chemistry. They feel like two people that have been through what they've been through, and I really enjoy it. And Margot Robbie in this movie is phenomenal. She literally is the reincarnation of Sharon Tate in this movie. I have never seen I can't really say that because I feel like Robert Downey Jr. really got into Charlie Chaplin's shoes as well, but I think that Margot Robbie really nailed Sharon Tate in this movie, just the portrayal and everything, and she is just phenomenal. She's been phenomenal since I've watched her. I think the first movie I've seen with her was The Wolf of Wall Street, I believe. I might be wrong about that, but she is just a great actress, and I could gush about this movie all day long, but I'll get into the plot of this movie. Essentially, this movie follows, let me think. It really does follow three people. You got Cliff Booth, who is a stuntman, and Rick Dalton, who is an actor. His best friend, you got Rick Dalton, who's also he's an actor in this movie. He's kind of washed up a little bit. He's trying to get back into starring in movies and everything, and he's taking shots on episodic shows like Gunsmoke. I don't think it's in they say Gunsmoke, but they do say I'm trying to think of all the movies they say, the shows they say. They have Land of the Giants, I think, The Green Hornet. What are the other movies that he does, or the other shows? FBI and stuff like that. He's just taking villain roles, or the heavy roles in these movies, like they would other washed up actors in the 60s would do. and I just think that Rick portrays that like actor to a T. Leo, sorry. But and then it also follows Margot Robbie, who plays Sharon Tate, in her life, and essentially, the movie really is a love letter to Hollywood and to Sharon Tate as well. Quentin grew up in Hollywood during this time, and also adored Sharon Tate, and it really just shows in this movie how much he does care about both those things. And I know that there is some controversy with the Bruce Lee portrayal in this movie. Honestly, I think that the actor that was hired for Bruce Lee was amazing. Again, the way that he was portrayed, such as his character, I mean, I can't really speak on. Quentin went off of it by people who talked about him, I believe. He was either talked about him or wrote a book. And Bruce Lee's family didn't find that too. They didn't take it too well, especially his daughter. But I'm not going to speak on that. But you know, it is whatever. But I feel like that I really love the way this movie it feels. I mean, I love watching movies, and this just feels like if you love movies, you are going to love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because it just shows you the process that goes into making these movies. It shows like the day-to-day lives about these actors and these stuntmen and everyone else that is involved with movie making. It just shows their daily life, and yeah, I really like it, and I know a lot of people were a little upset with the whole Sharon Tate Manson family thing in this movie, but honestly, I mean, it's supposed to be a fantasy, a world where Sharon isn't killed by the Manson family, and and I'm sure that everyone, you know, watching or listening to this, you know, wishes they were in that reality, but again, it's a fairy tale, and as it is in the title, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you know, Once Upon a Time really is like a fairy tale, you know, in itself. And you really get that feeling at the very end of the movie when it goes to the credits. I don't want to give it away, the ending, but you hear the music that's going on, and it feels like a storybook ending. And I love it. In the words of Martin Schwartz, I love that stuff. All the, I mean, there really isn't any killing in this movie except a couple times, but I'm not gonna, you know, spoil that either. But, yeah, I feel like I've said a whole lot of nothing, but there's just so much stuff I could say about this movie. I literally have watched this more than any other movie, and it you know, it kind of bothers me a little bit that I love that this is my number one movie because it's came out like so recently, but at the same time, this is the one movie that, I mean, I can watch literally, I think in 1 month, I've watched this movie like 18 times. Like, there was 1 month where I watched this movie like more than half a month, and I know that sounds crazy to people, but I just really I could turn this on in the background and watch it and do whatever. And I feel like if you have a favorite movie, that has to be a criteria in there, and I feel like if you can watch it more than once in a month, or a week, then that really is your favorite movie. And this one, it just is. I have not seen a movie that has, you know, done this to me in quite some time. Before this, I would have said probably one of the Back to the Future movies. I love that trilogy, but I do. I love this movie, and I couldn't give you a top 5, but I definitely could give you a top 1, and this is it. So I know a lot of people don't see it that way. I've seen it ranked, incredibly low. I will say that it's a little ridiculous that people rank this so low, like number like the eighth worst or ninth worst. Like I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I know a lot of people would dog on me for saying Jackie Brown is my worst one, but honestly, there's just no redeeming qualities in Jackie Brown except for maybe, uh, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. Yeah, well, you know what I'm talking about. It really bothers me. I can't remember her name. The main actress, Jackie Brown. That's killing me. But anyways, she's good in it. But this is not Jackie Brown review. I've already reviewed it. It's awful. I don't like it. It's whatever. But this, I love this movie. And if you have not seen it, please, for the love of God, watch it. Please, please, please. If you love movies, I will at least guarantee that you will like this movie. I won't say you will say it's the best thing you've ever seen or anything like that, but I definitely will say you like it. I mean, that's all I can say. But yeah, this is my number one Quentin Tarantino movie, and that's all of them ranked so far. There is literally one more left that Quentin has promised. He said he's only going to do 10 movies, which makes me sad, but you know, all great things must come to an end. So I'll be eagerly waiting for it. And I hope it's just as good as Hollywood, because honestly I don't know anything else that could top it, but that just might be my bias, but hey, that's my opinion. Yeah. I will say one more thing before going. If you do watch this movie and want to, you know, get into the whole, there is a novelization of this book, and I really implore you not to read the book before you watch this movie, and honestly I'd caution you from reading the book at all. There is I have discovered with Israel that it is the extended cut for this movie. This is what the book was originally, what the movie was going to be, and I'm thankful that we got what we got, because as much as I want to see more of this movie, I think that they ruin a few characters in this movie. Specifically Cliff. I think Cliff really takes a nosedive in the book, because Cliff is just such a likable character in the movie that the book just totally like smears his whole character, and that's my opinion, but I don't like Cliff as much in the book as I do in the movie. Rick does have a little bit more of a character in the book. And I'm not saying that Rick doesn't have a good character in the movie. It's just he does have more character development in the book. But I just don't think that causes someone to, you know, to force them to go to read the book. Because honestly, the Cliff part really does drag the movie down. And I kind of, as much as I enjoyed getting back into this movie and experiencing more of it, I really hate that Tarantino was going to go this route with the character. But again, that's just my opinion. So, yeah, that's all my movies, and we'll wait until we get the 10th one. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.